Okay, is it me or is it a little weird watching the show, knowing what we all know about Wendy now? It's kind of creepy.
Welcome to the Asia Esterak Hour, where film meets conspiracy and pop culture gets a reality check. From sharp recaps to sci-fi theories and media deep dives, Asia Esterak serves it unfiltered. Let the binge begin.
All right, welcome back to the Asia Esterak Hour. I'm Asia Esterak. Woo! The Real Housewives of Potomac, season 10, episode 2. Um, I'm gonna just say this before I even begin my review. I did a video about Wendy and Eddie. Um, this is so weird, very bizarre timing that this happened at the beginning of this season. So the irony is not lost on me that now we're gonna be watching her pass judgment and do all types of shit on people when she had all this playing on or going on in the background. This shit's weird. Anyway, all right. So we're still at what is it, the second bloom party that Ashley has. Um Wendy and Kay are still going at it. They basically come to an agreement where they agree to disagree pretty much. Wendy is not trying to hear anything Kiana is having to say. And what's funny, Kiana, who I absolutely love, I totally understand where you're coming from, especially now, knowing what we all know. Um, I appreciate the fact that in her age group, I'm an earlier millennial. I was born in 81. I guess she would be a later millennial. The later millennials, like with the Candace, are very quick to call out if somebody is being fake or being phony with them. So I can appreciate that. Um, she knows that Wendy's being dismissive and passive aggressive. She even used the word gaslighting. I completely agree with that. And what's funny is, Wendy, if you have no issue with her, then why are you throwing shade saying you don't have an issue? It's just weird. It's weird. But anyway, so they kind of subside there. Kiana makes a comment about how Kay is willing to move forward and address what the problem is, but Wendy is saying there is no issue at all, which is weird because clearly you know your friend has an issue with you, and instead of just talking about it, you're I don't know what's going I don't know why you feel that way. Girl, somebody, you know, with somebody being funny with you. You're being funny with her. And now we know that you just funny. You funny with funny money. Anyway, so Ashley and Stacey obviously get nowhere in their arguments too. That kind of settles that. Those two bickering issues kind of come to an end for now. Um, so the ladies are sitting around and Wendy, I thought this was interesting. So Wendy addresses Angel and Tia. Well, welcome, ladies. Welcome to the group. Like she's the queen of the group. Girl, I was like, I was sitting here like, really? Anyway, they all start talking. Tia kind of gives her background. Tia came from money. She is literally, she's from England, but you know her family is rooted in Nigerian, you know, super Nigerian heritage. She's Nigerian royalty from Lagos. Um, she grew up with money. She said she had a driver and a steward. I had a steward. And now she's been married to her husband, who I'm assuming is American. They've been together 17 years, and she has kids, which we meet later on. But anyway, she talks about herself, and she was like, "Oh, and Wendy, you're Nigerian. Why Stephanie? Why Stacy go? Oh, it's so that what a coincidence because we went into my lineage and it turns out I'm Nigerian as well." So the ladies are kind of laughing in her confessional. She's talking about how she found out she was Nigerian and she's like, "This is great because now we have Wendy, me, and Tia." Stacy, you just be living in that delusion, girl. Just be living in it. So anyway, that was kind of the rest of the scene. Angel talks a little bit. It's funny. I grew to really like Angel. So far, I wasn't seeing it for her in the first episode, but this episode we kind of got to learn a little bit more about her, and I like her. I like her. So far, I like what I see so far. So Stacy goes to Wendy's house. First of all, let me say this. Wendy, your body is sickening. You got a great body. Your legs, the legs on this woman in this outfit that she was wearing Let's talk about this outfit though. You fraud you fraud the insurance company for that type of fashion, girl. Allegedly for that type of fashion. What was this collegiate pinup girl get up? It was giving America's Next Top Model, circa 2006, challenge. I the the weird like super short onesie with the super platform black and white shoes, the pinup hair with the headband. It was a lot. You didn't need to do all that. You're beautiful. You don't need to be doing all that extra shit. Your legs look fucking amazing though. My God. From the length to the tone to the skin tone, popping, girl. Anyway, so Stacy comes over, they go outside, they're chatting, and Wendy, and I'm glad Wendy kind of called her out a little bit about the TJ stuff and the stuff with her husband. And she told her, she said, it looks the timing, it looks weird because it seems like the ladies are kind of on to you regarding the whole TJ stuff. And now all of a sudden you're getting back with your husband. So Stacy reminds me of Katie from Orange County. She gonna stick to that lie. Here's what I gather about Stacy. Stacy's a liar. It's obvious. She's told tall tales and she does her thing. I don't think it's that big. Let me rephrase that. It's not that it's not a big deal that she's a liar. Obviously, her being a liar is a big deal. What's not a big deal to me is if I'm in a group with somebody like Stacy and she's lying to the magnitude that she's lying to and she's sticking with it, at this point, I'm not stressing myself out over this person. I'm just gonna go, oh, okay, well, she's somebody I would never tell my like real business to. We can kiki at a party, have a cocktail or two. If I drank, we would, whatever, you know what I mean? But I'm not going to go personal with her or too deep because she got a problem telling the truth. And I would keep it at that. I think it's funny. It's obvious she's sticking to her story, and I don't understand why they continue to waste time trying to get it out of her. And the irony that it's Wendy in this scene trying to call her out on her deception. Meanwhile, meanwhile, um, but okay. Also in this scene, so Stacy calls out, or Wendy calls out Stacy for getting into the cannabis business and accuses her of basically copying her and Eddie. Here's my thing. You don't have a monopoly on the cannabis business. If somebody wants to get into the cannabis business and deal with that headache, then they can. I thought that was funny that Wendy was like in her confessional, me and Eddie had heard shortly after last year that she was inquiring. And they actually showed footage of some business entrepreneur guy talking to Giselle about it, which, well, Wendy said she didn't know him. I found that whole thing to be quite messy and ridiculous. First of all, the fact that he was cool signing a waiver to go on camera to say that shit showed how messy he is more than Stacy. And Wendy, Happy Eddie ain't doing it like that no way because look where you're at. So what are you talking about? Again, it's weird watching this now, knowing what we know about her because it just all seems like a facade and for the camera and fake as fuck. Um, Stacy's sticking to her lie. She's sticking to her lie. It was funny how Wendy kind of did this when she was talking about getting back with her husband. We absolutely are divorced, Wendy, but we're going to work it out. Like Stacy crazy as hell, but that's what she's gonna do. So I don't understand why we're continuing to waste time on that. But okay, whatever. Okay, so we have a couple cute scenes in between that. Giselle goes over to Tia's house. We get to meet Tia's family. She has a set of twins, a boy and a girl, and then she has two older daughters. We met her husband, 17 years. Very cute family, cute house. Fun scene. Giselle talks about having her husband hang out with Eddie because they're both kind of nerdy types. Cute little scene. Tia's interesting. I'm really interested to see what more she gives to the rest of the season. After that, we see Ashley with her youngest half sister or sister. I don't do that. I have half siblings. I don't do all that. We siblings. This is her youngest sister whose father is currently with Ashley's mom, the guy that Ashley doesn't like. This was an interesting scene. We basically find out that Ashley is back with that guy, Josh, the younger white guy that she met at that like speed dating round thing or whatever. Um, she said that they kind of broke up after she did Love Hotel. You know what's interesting? I just want to point something out. So Bravo shows her dating Michael, and then they show her with the one white dude, Ralph, on Love Hotel. I guess to show what her type is, but they didn't mention the fact that she was also dating the black guy on Love Hotel as well. They had probably some of the strongest chemistry on the show next to Shannon and Earl. But I just thought that was interesting that they didn't mention the black dude, but they mentioned the other two guys. Um, I get what they were doing as far as age, but I'm like, I don't know. I thought that was weird. So anyway, she's back with homeboy. That's the dude that Wendy calls Jack Harlow. Whatever. So we get to Giselle goes to Kiarna's house. First of all, Kay's apartment is cute as shit. I think it's a condo. Love the decorations. Love how it's decorated. It's her home away from home. This is where her and I are similar. I'm not married. I've never been married, but I always said if I ever got married, I would either have to have my own wing of the house or my own separate space to do me. I'm very much an introvert when it comes to I need my own space. So I got that. She kind of alludes to that. She's just like, this is I need my own thing. It's really nice. Really nice. She had a chef there that was fine. It was funny because Giselle was like, what's his status? Okay. What is his status, Kiarna? Because he was kind of cute. And he can cook. But anyway, so Giselle asked her if her what's his name? Greg, is that her man's name? I'm on the fence about him. But anyway, she was asking if he's been there, and Kiarna's like, yeah, of course. She has pictures of them together. So anyway, they get outside. They're kind of recapping everything, and Kay is talking about this event she had at her business a few days before, and a few people showed up. Ashley showed up, and she's telling Giselle about she was downloading the. So she's telling the ladies that about the whole situation with her and Wendy and all the passive aggressive, dismissive behavior. But so she's talking about this NAACP event where Wendy had been weird about telling her that she was even going, and that it mentioned that her kids were sick and she still wasn't sure. And then Kay said when she actually did get to the event and saw Wendy, the first thing Wendy says to her is not hi, but oh hey, did you do your own? Did you do your own makeup? Just like immediately throwing shade, and everybody else is like, what? And Tia was like, what does that mean? So Angel jumps in and she was like, well, did you ask about her kids? So they kind of go back and forth, and Angel was trying to justify why she said that. And of course, Kay is getting annoyed because she's like, we're supposed to be friends, and you're like taking up for Wendy. So of course, her and Giselle are talking about that. And it was kind of weird. And then Kay used this term, I definitely had to chin check her or something like that. Like, and they're fine now. They're back on the same page. Um, that was a little weird that Angel kind of brought that up. But then again, this is TV. That conversation could have been a lot longer. We just saw snippets of it. So I don't know if there was something in there that sparked her to even ask that question. It's not that deep, but it is a cause for pause. You know what I mean? I can understand Kay feeling some type of way. But whatever. So we get to Angel's event. So Angel, we actually had a small scene with her and her husband. Cute relationship. They've been married for 6 years. And when they lived in Colorado, because he used to play for the Broncos, they started like this hiking trail, holistic type of situation, which is cool. It's cool to see black people into that because I feel like we don't see enough of that in the I'm not into holistic. I'm open to it, but I'm not like a part of that world like that. But it's cool to see black folks doing it. I just thought that was kind of neat. Because she said she's certified and all this stuff. So anyway, she's holding this something tranquility situation, like she's doing a sound bath, she's having lunch, and the women are coming, and it's a way to for everybody to get together and get to know each other, and for her to get to know her. So anyway, they get there, and so the event starts. Wendy's the first one to arrive. Her pompous stuck up ass. So there's a woman at the door that's like, can I offer you a cold towel? This bitch gonna lean down, can I smell it? Oh no, no, thank you. But this is nice. She's so sickening. Knowing what we know about her, like, you fake ass bitch, get the fuck on. Oh, please. And you know what? It's funny because this is the most memorable shit that'll ever happen to her on TV is her fraud shit. This is the realest shit we've ever seen from you. And you got your stuck up ass talking about to a fuck. it's the pompous, I look down on you because I think I'm better attitude. Like, shut up, because you're not. Now we really know that you're not. But anyway, um, so they have this like hibiscus mixed drink with vodka, and I guess she'd sprinkled something in there. They were implying that they were high, which I thought was weird because I was like, what? Anyway, so they offer her that. Wendy takes a sip of that. Angel greets her. The rest of the ladies trail in. Angel's house was really nice the way she had it all done up. The food looked good. It looked like a nice event. So everyone's there. They're all talking. Giselle, because Giselle knows her role on this show. She knows to stir it up. She's like, all right, so everyone's good. You know, Kay, are you and Wendy? Are you guys good? Are you guys good? And they're like, yeah, we're fine, whatever. Y'all are not fine. But we, for the sake of right now, sure, sure. So then Giselle, because Giselle's messy, she says to Angel and Kay, like, "Are you guys good?" Angel, of course, has no idea what she's talking about, and she even says, she goes, "If there was an issue, she would, she would tell me if there was an issue." So Giselle, they're bringing up the whole situation with Wendy. They don't get too deep into it because Wendy doesn't get involved in it. They're just more talking about the whole chin check thing because Giselle then says, well, she had mentioned she had to chin check you, and she's like, what? And of course, Angel's like, I'm not. Nobody's chin checking me. Like I would do the chin checking. Um, so Giselle goes over to Kiana and she's like, you did say, you did say chin check. So of course she goes over, apologizes. I'm grown up to admit, you know what, I might have said that. Giselle says I said that word. I don't remember saying it, but I did. Whatever. They apologize. They whoop it out. That's maturity, ladies and gentlemen. Maturity. Um, Anyways, so we go outside to do this sound bath. Not a sound bath, but like this cleansing, healing thing. Angel says this is what she does at the end of all her hikes, trails, whatever. So she's like, would anybody like to go and say anything first? Blah blah blah. So they start setting their intentions, going around the room talking, and Stacy says that she wants the ladies to join her in a what did she say, like a cleansing breath or whatever. And of course they were all making breath snickering comments and shit. They actually did that before Stacy came in at one point. They alluded to the mints, and it was funny. Stacy was like, oh, are you saying I need a mint? Stacy, you're a good sport. Because I think other people would not be as cool with somebody just people openly taking jabs at them about their breath. So the fact that she's like okay and like being a good sport about it, I mean, good for you, girl. Good for you. I would get annoyed, but it is what it is, whatever. So they come in, they grab food, they're eating, and they're sitting around, and Stacy decides to she pulls Ashley to the side to talk to her. Everybody else basically follows them. Wendy sits down next to Stacy and she's like, all right, fine, you guys are here. So she basically says to Ashley, you've you've made a lot of comments about my marriage and my divorce. And I just wanted to show you that we are divorced. So she pulls out her cell phone to show some alert that she said her and her husband got when it was official that they were divorced. And she's showing Ashley. Of course, everyone's looking at it. Giselle is sitting at the top of the couch, like back here, and she's like, no, this is nothing new. So in her confessional, she's like, I'm divorced. I know what divorce looks like. This is something that Stacy has made up in an app. This is not legit. Um, this was weird, Stacy. Why did you feel you needed to do this? I just thought that was bizarre. All it did was it didn't do anything for you. It just raised even more questions about your character. So I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, at the top of the episode, the ladies had alluded to it being Karen's birthday. So our last scene is Kay, Giselle, Ashley, and Karen's friend Cookie, who needs to be added to the show. Cookie had me dying. So they meet up at what is it, Jolly Ho restaurant, which happens to be Karen's like favorite brunch, breakfast, lunch spot. It's a cute little juicy, greasy spoon. I love stuff like that. So they get in there and they're talking about it being Karen's birthday. So her friend Cookie shows up, and Cookie got tig old bitty. So I was cracking up because Ashley, of course, was commenting on them immediately. You could tell they all have a good rapport with her. It was interesting in this scene. Giselle said that Karen is only talking to Cookie, her husband, and her daughter. And she's like, Karen's being strategic right now, and I understand. Um, it's funny because you could tell that Giselle really cares about Karen. You be talking cash money shit about her, but you genuinely care about her. So that was kind of cool. And it was funny. Kay actually wore an outfit which was like an ode to Karen as well. So that was cool to see them all show up for her. In this scene, though, it got a little messy because we learned they start talking about Stacy, and we learned that Stacy, through Ashley's friend, has been trying to get with Chris Samuels, Monique Samuels' ex-husband. So of course Giselle's like, well, we need Monique to come in. So the episode kind of ends there. Stacy apparently is trying to get with Chris Samuels, and it looks like Monique is coming back into the picture next week. Anyway, I love the Potomac. I love this group of ladies. I love this franchise. This stuff with Wendy is really disappointing. But you know what it is, what it is. Life goes on. Anyway, happy Monday. Be safe, stay hydrated, be nice to each other. And I'm going to go return these videotapes.